Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. Right in my hands is Dune, Book 1, the graphic novel adaptation of the beloved series. Beloved is probably a good way. I mean, it's a popular sci-fi series, obviously with pretty successful films. This is interesting. It is adapted by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson, illustrated by Raúl, Allén, and Patricia, Martín. So I have never read Dune. I've never read the actual books. I've seen the films, but have stayed away from the books. As far as the films, I thought they were okay. I could see why people really like it. I mean, the world was kind of cool. The story overall, to me, is just a little slow and plodding and a little boring. I think I like the concepts, but not the execution. We'll go with that. So I was interested in diving into the graphic novel, seeing how maybe that differed from the films, and reading the opening of this that's kind of, it's going to be different. The graphic novels are supposed to be pretty close to adaptations of the original books. As I said in the beginning, it's not word for word, but it's kind of scene by scene. The best way of thinking about it. So some things might be shown instead of said, and generally you're getting the scenes, but maybe not all the dialogue. And to me, it's interesting. So, I'm assuming these graphic novels are pretty damn close to the book. And my takeaway is, these are also slow and slightly plodding and boring. And again, I like the general concept. It just takes a lot to get there. It's interesting. Dune obviously is a massively influential book. Copied often. It's funny of reading this. I can see so many damn things that it has influenced, and things have, we'll just outright say, ripped off of the series. But then again, Dune itself is a pretty basic concept, right? You've got a boy who is to be king that is dethroned and casted away and has to find another people and be accepted by them and kind of be humbled in some way, and comes to rise to power again through some prophecy. It's kind of a pretty regular plot we've seen over and over and over and again. And it's not knocking it. I'm not saying it's unoriginal. It's a basic plot we've seen. So really comes down to the specifics, and I will say I do like the specifics. There's a lot of detail in it. It's to me a graphic novel and probably a book that takes 4 pages for something that could have been done in 1. The graphic novel feels that way, where someone will state something, someone will respond back, and then the original statement's kind of repeated again, and it's all right, cool, so you could have cut out a third of the panels here. And that way it kind of gets dragged on a little bit. It's not one that's quick pacing like today's entertainment. But the political intrigue and the jockeying and the betrayals and who's with who and who can you trust, to me that's interesting and it's entertaining. Just takes a lot to get through it. For those who might care or might want to know, this book is basically up to Paul and his mother starting to walk through the desert after the attack on their city. The Atreides rule is collapsed. I don't know what we want to call it. It's been taken over. Obviously there's betrayal all around, and a very convoluted act. I think that's the thing that gets to me is why the person betrayed House Atreides, and what they're trying to do just seems very complicated, really needlessly complicated. It's just it takes a while to get to the point, I think, is really the issue that I have with it. But it's interesting. To me, I think this is going to be one, I'm going to read the second book and the third book. The third book comes out this coming week. And I'm sure the whole I will enjoy much more than the individual. It's not quite the painstaking read where I actually am have to force myself through it. I read it and it took me probably a couple hours to get through. It's slow and it is what it is. The art though I think is really solid. I do like the art style. I think it kind of captures the world really well. You know, there's just enough interesting detail to it to kind of tell some of the story in the detail. You know, the look of everything is familiar. I mean, if you've seen the films and all that, like, the film does a decent job of, like, capturing the look, and I think this does a good job of capturing the look. So, like, to me, there's nothing that really shocks as far as what everything, you know, comes off as. You know, obviously there's some characters that look a little different. You know, there's some cool moments, like the first worm showing up, I think actually is, like, it's a pretty cool image that, you know, will stick in your head. The thing that I think is actually interesting is the actual attack on the capital city. Like, it's not much action. The redone film is way more action-oriented than the book is. It really, you see kind of more of the after effects of everything, and, you know, you see the smoke and all that, than the actual, like, battle in the streets. And honestly, I don't think you really need to see that. Like, you know, the city is fallen. What else do you need to know? So yeah, to me, I mean, like, it's a great way to read a classic. I think I couldn't get through the prose, to be honest. Like, if I attempted to, it would take me forever. I'm slow to read prose to begin with, so reading the actual prose of this, I think I wouldn't. I'd have to give up at some point. So I'm glad I get to be able to read it in a graphic novel form. I seems to get a good sense as to what the book is like. And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go through, read the second one, and the third one is out, I said, this coming week, and we'll do a review of that. But overall, like, seems to be a good adaptation. The art is pretty solid, and, you know, it's a pretty no frills. There's not really any extras. There's some nice, like, a preface and a little bit, you know, beforehand acknowledgments that I think are kind of interesting, but, you know, it's not one that's, like, packed with sketches or anything like that as far as a presentation. But yeah, I mean, if you've never read the book, or you're, like, a diehard fan, yeah, I think this is a pretty solid adaptation from what I can tell. But yeah, you can go get it. It is out in shops. It's been out in shops for a while. We got a link beneath this video. Put in your zip code to tell if a comic shop is near you. No shop, no problem. To have some links where you can purchase your own. There'll be affiliate links, so you get a small percentage. And by doing that, you'll support our site. So thank you. And speaking of support, I want to thank Abrams Comicarts for hooking us up with this review copy. And of course, thank you all for watching. If you're into comics or into graphic novels, check us out every day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, Threads, Blue Sky, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. So until next time, keep reading those comics, and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.